Morning, everyone. So today we are looking at Queen Elizabeth II. She is our longest reigning queen, and we are doing things differently today and for the next few days. So we're going to be looking at traditional tales, but also the Queen, and we're going to be turning it into a little play. So we're going to try and work out how we would do our own little play script using the two. This is going to be fun. So here's some interesting facts that you can use about Queen Elizabeth II. So Queen Elizabeth II was born on the 21st of April 1926, which makes her 94 years old. It's very old. Do you know anyone that old or even older? She had a sister who was born in 1930. Excuse me, that's my dog banging her way through the door. So she has a sister called Margaret Rose, who was born in 1930. Queen Elizabeth's sister is no longer with us. She passed away. Queen Elizabeth was named after her mother, who was also called Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. She was born at home. She wasn't born in a hospital. She was born at home in a house. Number 17, Burton Street, Mayfair, London, at 2:40 a.m. in the morning. The Queen has two birthdays. Did you know that? She has her actual birthday, which, like I said, is the April the 21st. But then she has one in June, which is called the Trooping of the Colour. And that normally celebrates when she was crowned Queen. Like I said, she's the longest reigning queen. So that when we talk about the reigning queen, we call it the reigning monarch. So she's the longest serving monarch in our country. She was crowned queen. She was coronated queen in 1953 in Westminster Abbey. Now, the sad thing about when she was being crowned queen, and this is quite a sad thing to think about, but, it's important to think about these things. So, I'm going to share it with you. But while we celebrate the fact that she is our longest reigning queen and that she was crowned in June 1953, what we've got to remember is that whilst she's being crowned queen, and we're all celebrating the fact that she's about to be crowned queen in June 1953, for her to be crowned queen that day, she's also coming to terms with the fact that she's just lost her dad. So for her to be able to be crowned queen, the king had to have died. And for her to be queen, the reigning monarch, her parent, has had to have just passed away, which was her father. Now, the Queen's father died whilst the Queen was on holiday. So the Queen found out while she was on holiday with Prince Philip, her husband, that he had died. So she had to come home. And in those days, it wasn't particularly easy to come home. You couldn't just hop on any plane. It took her a couple of days to get home. Not like it would be able to now to get home. So when she found out, it was quite frantic for her to get home to be with her family. When she found out that he was taken poorly, she didn't make it home. But anyhow, we'll move on. Interesting facts. The Queen speaks fluent French, so she speaks more than one language. She didn't ever go to school. She was home educated. She's never stepped foot in a school to be taught. She's never had a lesson in a classroom like you guys. She's only ever been taught at home. She learnt all of her normal lessons at home, and her main lessons as she grew up were I can't find it now. Constitutional law. So the law of the country was one of her main lessons, because she was going to have to be queen. But she wasn't originally supposed to be queen. The reason that the queen is because her uncle gave up the right to be king. So her father wasn't ever supposed to be king. His brother was actually the one who was supposed to be the king, but he abdicated. So he was Prince Edward, and he was supposed to be the king. He was going to be the next in line to the throne, but he gave up his right, which is called abdicating. So when he gave up his right to abdicate, to the right to the throne, which is called abdication, that then gave his brother, King George VI, the Queen's father, the right to the throne, which is why she became queen. The Queen has 4 children: Prince Charles, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward. She has very many grandchildren. She has owned over 30 dogs, and she has created her very own breed of dog. The Queen and Prince Philip have been married for over 60 years. The oldest person to receive a telegram from the Queen was over 116 years old, and he lived in Canada. The Queen doesn't carry money apart from on a Sunday when she goes to church, and she gives people who attend the same church that she does money. The Queen is the only person in the whole of the UK to be allowed to drive without a driving license. She learnt to drive in 1945, and now this is an interesting fact. She learnt to drive in 1945 for one particular reason, and it was to volunteer to help in the war. So in the war, the Queen and Princess Margaret both helped out in the war. They helped out in the Land Army, and for a time people didn't realise it was them. They did it without people knowing. Queen Elizabeth, since William the Conqueror was crowned in 1066, is the 40th monarch that the United Kingdom have had. What else can I tell you? She sent her first email in 1976. See, we think email is a modern thing, but no, emails have been around since that long. 1976. That's a long time ago. I'm just trying to think. She has a YouTube channel, which has had almost 56 million views. It'll have had more than that since I'm reading this. She doesn't have a passport. So not only does she not have a driving license, but she doesn't have a passport. I wonder how she has a bank account. She trained as a mechanic to help out in the war as well. Now, I don't know whether you know this, but you probably do. Some of you might do. But all of the swans in the whole of the United Kingdom are owned by the Queen. So every single swan in the British Isles is owned by the Queen. The monarchy own all of our swans. So if you hurt or kill a swan, it's actually considered an act of treason. To pay for her wedding dress, the Queen collected ration coupons because they were still under rationing in the war. So from the war, so she used rationing coupons to pay for her wedding dress. I'm just trying to think of some more. What other things can I tell you about her? Obviously, we know that the Queen loves dogs. She absolutely also adores horses, and she owns racehorses as well. Excuse me. And her love of horses started when she was 3 years old, and she was given a pony for her birthday. But yeah, she actually owns her own set of stables, and she races horses. So she has a set of trainers that put horses in things like the Cheltenham Cup and things like that, which is a very famous horse race that goes on once a year. I'm just trying to think of... The Queen has been overseas more than 250 times. She doesn't go overseas anymore because she's retired from going overseas now. She's just recently done that. Since the Queen has been our Queen, she has passed more than 3,500 acts of Parliament. That means she's passed laws that have become laws of our land more than 3,500 times, which means that she's given them the royal assent, which makes them proper laws. That's a lot of laws. And I think that's all I'm going to do for you for today. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I could say. One of the things it says on here, let me just find a fun fact, is that obviously it must be hard work being a queen. You know, think about all the responsibilities she's got. But she once said, when asked, that she doesn't regret it. She doesn't regret all the responsibilities, the fame that she has. She doesn't regret it one little bit at all. And she wouldn't change it for the world. So that's nice. Did you know that just recently, as in during this lockdown, when she did her Easter Sunday broadcast, that is the first time that she has ever done a broadcast on an Easter Sunday. The monarch never normally does a broadcast ever during a religious day other than Christmas Day, and the Christmas Day one is recorded. It's never done live over a holiday. And I think the first time she owned a home, I'm just trying to find it. I think she was 4 years old. I'm just trying to find that one. I'm sure she owned her first home when she was 4. I'm just trying to find it. I can't find it now. Oh, 6. She was 6. Sorry. I was wrong by 2 years. So that means that when she was in year 1, what is year 1? She had her first house. She was given her first house by the people of Wales. They bought her first house. That would be nice, wouldn't it? At the age of 6, own your own home. And it means Little Wales. I can't pronounce the Welsh of it. I byddin bach. That's how it's pronounced. I byddin bach. It's a good job I've got Welsh relatives. And it means little house, little cottage. It means. So there you go. So that's your facts for today. And then tomorrow I'm going to find you a traditional story. And then the next day we'll be looking at how you can make a little script. And then you're going to have a go about that. And that'd be fun. So I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.